And the time approaching 12 minutes to 3, and I've got to tell you that at 3 o'clock our time, I'll have Trysette on the phone. We'll chat a little bit about her music and play a little bit of music from her CD, and her CD is called Feel So Pretty. So I'm looking forward to that because it's kind of like a online dating thing, really, because I've had communication with her by email, but I've never really met her or chatted. So we're going to have a whole new relationship starting up right on 3 o'clock. Brief as it may be, still, you can tune in and just take advantage of all the things we might say to each other on our first date. Anyway, that's 3 o'clock, and that's Trysette.
We'll do it all. Everything on our own. We don't need anything or anyone. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? I don't quite know how to say how I feel. Those 3 words I said too much and not enough. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we're told before we get too old. Just show me a garden that's bursting into life. Let's waste time chasing cars around our heads. I need your grace to remind me to find my own. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we're told before we get too old. If I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world?
That was Trysette off her album called Feels So Pretty. And on the phone, I've got Trysette right at this moment. Hello, Trysette.
Hi, Peter.
Thank you for phoning in today.
Well, thank you for having me on the show.
Now, where are you today?
I'm in Queensland. One of my sisters has a place at Phrygian Beach, so I'm very lucky I get to come and hang out here whenever I feel like it.
So that's the Sunshine Coast, is that right?
It is, just south of Noosa.
Oh, fantastic. I envy you. That's where I'd like to be right at this moment. Although I've got to tell you, Melbourne at the moment is pretty sensational as well.
Is it? Well, it's windy and overcast here, which is actually a nice change, so that you're not missing the beach weather.
Good stuff. Listen, I said to you when I dialed you up that I had played one of your other CDs, and was that your first CD? And you said, no, that was your fourth CD. So how many CDs have you done?
I've got 5, including a solo album that I put together last year. So I've got 4 fully produced albums and the one solo, which is just, it's called Silky Fingers, and it's 10 tracks of solo piano and vocal of my songs.
Good stuff. And tell us a little bit about your history. Where did you come from? Because I call this program New and Emerging Music, and I think you'd hate me to tell you were new and emerging, because you've probably been emerging for a while.
Well, everyone's an overnight success after about 10 or 15 or 20 years, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I grew up in Grafton, the home of Troy Cassar-Daley and the McClymonts, John Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which is the Clarence Valley, northern New South Wales. And I'm one of 9 children, number 4. We're all just numbers. And we were all classically trained, actually, on the piano. And even though we didn't really attend the Catholic school, we did learn piano from the nuns.
How many of you learnt piano?
Pretty much all of it.
Wow.
Yes, I know. And we had this amazing grand piano in our home that Mum and Dad bought from an English couple in Brisbane. They had moved out here from London and brought it with them, and it's a London chapel. And that's what I grew up on, and it's now in the Powerhouse Museum in Sydney. Really? And
why is it in the Powerhouse Museum?
Because it's a rare instrument. It was one of 2 that were in a series. And it's just, if you saw it, it's just absolutely beautiful. In fact, I've got a blog post on my website, Trysette.com, and that was my first blog about that piano, because I've only started blogging recently, and so it's an interesting little read, and I've got a picture there of it on the blog.
That's because it's strange. I think I've either read about it or heard about it somewhere, and it's I'm just going through my brain cells trying to assemble what it might be. But are you allowed to go into the Powerhouse and be the only person in Australia who's allowed to sit down and pound out a number?
Well, no, apparently people do play it. Yeah, so I guess you'd have to ask. I have been in there and I did see it many years ago, and it was a weird, strange feeling. You know, you almost feel a little possessive. It's like, what's my piano doing in here?
Well, how was it wrenched from the grasp of your family and taken to the Powerhouse Museum?
Well, it's a little bit of a sore point. I did say to my mum, you know, growing up, I said, you must never get rid of that piano without consulting us kids. But she did that. She just did that. She decided one day, after we'd all flown the nest, I think she just figured that it was such a big thing, such a huge instrument, that none of us would be in the position to house it at the time. So she didn't think to ask us when she advertised it, sold it, and somehow it ended up in the Powerhouse Museum. So, yeah.
I can see a song coming up from you on CD number 6 called My Piano.
Well, actually, one of my sisters has said that I'm going to write a book one day, and it's going to be called Who Stole My Piano. So I think we all feel a little bit, jilted.
But one thing that's lovely about it, at least it's somewhere, and it's never going to end up, in an awkward situation on a scrap heap or anything like that. It's being kept for posterity, for everybody to have a look at.
It is, and that actually makes me feel very good.
It should do.
It's being given back to the world community, basically, and that that's wonderful. No point me having it stored somewhere where I can't play it and nobody else can see it or hear it.
Absolutely. Now, off your album Feels So Pretty, Trysette, you've got a song which is track 3, which is called Under My Skin. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Under My Skin, yes. I came out of a long and, wonderful relationship, which sounds weird, but it did end about 7 or 8 years ago. And I then met somebody a few years later who kind of blew me away and made me feel great. But I was still, you can imagine, after a long relationship, you still, there's a grieving process to go through. And so even though you might find somebody that you have those feelings for, you can kind of be a little bit afraid of entering into a new relationship. And it's a little bit like that. I was having those feelings. It's like, but no, stay away kind of thing. I don't want to get hurt again, A bit
of a nagging in the background all the time.
Yeah, it's like, come close, but don't, go away,
And that's what this song's about.
Yes.
I fell under the spell of your deep blue eyes. Now I can't sleep, though I have tried. You burned up my soul, you made me a fool. You left me to yearn for you. And even if it's just a memory, you're the one who finally got to me. I tried to resist the moment we kissed. I knew it was too late. Don't you get under my skin? Don't you get under my skin? Don't you get under my skin? That wasn't in the plan when I let you in. Your kisses burned right to my very core, kinda like I never felt before. So what do I do now? How should I feel? How do I deal with this? I shake it off momentarily. I know very soon I will be free. So don't you come round here calling my name, only to fan my flame. Don't you get under my skin? Don't you get under my skin? Don't you get under my skin? That wasn't in the plan when I let you in. Don't you get under my skin? Don't you get under my skin? Don't you get under my skin? That wasn't in the plan, that wasn't in the plan. And now that you're under my skin, now that you're under my skin, now that you're under my skin, my heart is in a spin, my heart is in a spin. Now it's all too late. Now it's all too late. Now it's all too late.
Off the album Feels So Pretty, that was Trysette, and the song was called Under My Skin. Trysette, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
In the studio, I've got a young trainee radio announcer named Sierra, and she said it was beautiful. And also your story about while you wrote it was probably a little bit too revealing for a 19-year-old, but one's got to learn and get on with life, don't they?
Oh, yeah, she'll know. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Now, it's part of life's rich tapestry. You know that. Not everything's good, not everything's bad.
No,
Just goes
that's
along,
right.
doesn't it? Yeah.
I
Now, where are
think
you
it's
playing currently?
I've just been doing some private shows. I've done a fair bit of touring in America over the last 3 or 4 years, and it's kind of interesting because once I finished this album and I recorded Feel So Pretty in America, I came home and I thought, well, kind of what now? You know, I've become a solo touring artist. I've got all this product. What do I do with it? You know, and so I'm actually spending some time back home in Australia, just focusing on where to take it next and how to take it to the next level. And so I'm learning some new skills, and I've got new mentors in my life who are teaching me things that I never, about the business side of. I didn't think being a musician you needed to be a business person, but clearly in this day and age you actually do. And so I'm on this huge learning curve, and it's wonderful.
Yes, you need to be able to market. The problem today, if you went back 40 years ago, the record company did your marketing for you and said, turn up there at 2 o'clock and, you do your part of it. And today, there's so many individual artists out there, and it's so hard to get the exposure you want, and you really have to kind of do that kind of marketing yourself, don't you?
You have to, and 80% of any business is marketing. And so, but I used to think marketing was a dirty word, and now I realise all it is just connecting with people.
Making contacts, yeah.
Yes, and being yourself, that's the most important thing that I didn't think. I thought marketing would turn me into something that I didn't want to be, but it's not true, I think. I feel very lucky to live at a time where we have the ability to connect with so many people around the world via social media. I'm sure that if I didn't have social media in my life, I certainly wouldn't be having the career that I'm enjoying.
No, well, social media probably is going to save music when you think about how some of the streaming and all this kind of thing has destroyed the marketing of music. Now, individuals are doing it their own way, and the curious thing with social media, if you look on the site, you'll see a lady who I think is a friend of yours called Judy Dunn. Now, she's in Alabama, you're in Queensland, and I'm here in Melbourne. And
she's in Alabama. Hi, Judy. I didn't realise that. And I've got Darren Mahoney listening in from Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow.
And David Lassen from near Chicago. Hi.
Well, I'm sure they are glad to hear your voice there, because with this whole connection and social media, I mean, sometimes I'll be playing an artist, like I might be playing you in the breakfast program, for example, and Judy will get onto it. And straight away she'll put something across to you saying, I just heard you on the program. Now, I don't do anything. I'm just sitting there pressing a few buttons, and she's acting as my secretary in the other room, and yet she's 12,000 kilometres away or something.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. I love it so much.
Yeah, well, Judy has just clicked a big smiley face through, so she obviously likes that conversation, I'm thinking. Now, I've queued up a song which is track 2, which is called Your Hands on Me, so this might be our last one we're going to play today, but do you want to tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah, well...
It's a bit like Under My Skin, Your Hands on Me. It goes together, really, doesn't it?
I guess so. Well, this is kind of a song for the bedroom. But again,
I'm blushing here, Trysette.
You're blushing.
Not much.
Well, for our Americans, they can take this to bed with them tonight. They're about to turn in. David's told me that he's staying up after his bedtime. This is for you, David.
Excellent. That's good news.
It's the drummer on this whole album's name is Mike Baird. And recording in America gave me the opportunity to work with some amazing musicians. And Mike has a very colourful career working with so many famous artists, including Joe Cocker and Journey and Rick Springfield, and the list goes on if you look them up on music. And so he's the drummer on this album, and he played on You Can Leave Your Hat On.
Wow.
And so
that's good cred.
Oh, yes, I like it.
Yeah.
And so when I wrote Your Hands on Me, I thought wow, wouldn't it be fun to kind of, in a way, make this the female version of You Can Leave Your Hat On? I flatter myself. And have the same drummer play on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we did. So when we went into the studio, Mike said to me, now what feel do you want on this, Trysette? And I said, well, you know that song You Can Leave Your Hat On? And it was quite funny. But yes, he just started playing straight away.
Yeah.
So but the song is, actually about a beautiful affair I had with a gorgeous man, and that's the way he made me feel.
That's wonderful. You're such a revealing woman, Trysette. You just tell us everything. It just pours out, doesn't it?
Well, I like it. You know, people like Pink taught me to reveal myself, and I'm trying to get better at it. I mean, I haven't always been this way, but you know, when she had her breakup with her husband and the songs that she wrote, I just thought, wow, okay, I love this, and I love her vulnerability and her honesty, and so it made me realise if I love it, then I'm sure it's giving to people, you know.
Absolutely. Trysette, I'm going to play that. I'm going to say goodbye to you, but thank you very much for coming on the program. I really do appreciate it. It's been just wonderful chatting with you.
I've loved it too. Thank you, Peter. Thanks for having me on.
Bye for now.
Bye.
You call me baby, and I can hardly speak. I've only dreamt of this moment 1,000 times before. You hold me dangerously close. I feel my heart explode. And I go weak at the knees as you put your hands on me. You put your hands on me, and I can hardly breathe. Your breath is warm on me as you kiss my tears away. You take the clip from my hair. You like it wild and free. Oh baby, who am I to disagree? I trace the shape of your arms as you pick me up and lay me down, and I lose myself as you put your hands, yeah. You put your hands on me, and I can hardly breathe. Your breath is warm on me as you kiss my tears away.
that was Trysette, and I had her on the phone for a chat right from 3 o'clock right through until 20 past, and I hope I'll have her on the program again. So she's a great person to chat to, telling some very revealing things, making a man like me just sit here and blush madly. Trysette, thank you for being on the line. I do appreciate it. I know your conversation was appreciated by all our listeners as well.